Many of us photographers enjoy travel photography. The thrill of seeking out new places and finding new angles on often shot subjects is both challenging and rewarding. There are a few places in the world that capture the imagination of all travel photographers. Maybe it's the incredible light, maybe the culture, perhaps the unique architecture. One place has all of these and much more. It's a kind of photographer's heaven where it's impossible not to get great shots. That place is Havana, Cuba. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Getting there for US citizens is still not easy, although the rules and regulations are beginning to relax. It is possible to travel there via a third country, and Cuban immigration will not stamp your passport. For most other nations, it's fairly simple. From Europe and South America, several airlines fly to Jose Marti International. From Asia, you will probably need to connect via Europe. Most nationals will require a tourist visa before arrival in Cuba. These are easy to obtain either from your local Cuban embassy or through a specialist travel agency. Let's take a look at what to shoot. Arriving in Havana, it can feel as though time has stood still. Old American cars rumble past faded and crumbling colonial buildings. Sometimes even the light seems to have come from the early days of colour film. The obvious starting point for photography is Havana Vieja, or Old Havana. This is the central part of the city, heavily restored with some stunningly renovated buildings. Its narrow streets make shooting difficult, especially for architecture, but by using a good telephoto you can isolate some of the details. There are many street characters in Old Havana, but be aware they are not what you would call the genuine article. They dress to make money from tourist photographs. Most common amongst these are the Santeria women, dressed in pure white, often smoking large Cuban cigars. Some of the best locations to shoot in Old Havana are the Cathedral, the Plaza San Francisco with its beautifully restored buildings and Art Deco port terminal, Plaza Vieja, and the famous Hemingway Hotel, the Ambus Mundus. The bar at the top of the hotel provides great views over the city for panoramics. To the western edge of Old Havana lies Parque Central and the Capitolio. The Capitolio is the former Parliament building, an imposing edifice built on the same design as the US Capitol building. It is best shot in the early morning as the sun rises to get the golden light on the pure white stone. Later in the day, the sun moves behind the building, making it difficult to shoot. There is a wide, busy street in front of the Capitolio where you can capture old American cars with the building behind. Parque Central is a great place to mingle with the locals. There are old Cuban gents playing dominoes, hustlers and local families sheltering from the heat. Cubans are gregarious and open people. They love to engage with others and are usually happy to have their photos taken. Unless shooting candids, always ask if you can take a picture. Just sticking a camera in someone's face without asking is a sure way to propagate the myth of the ignorant foreigner. Some people will ask for money to take their photo. You will need to decide whether you are comfortable with that or not. The streets of Old Havana are in some respects a tourist bubble, a sanitized version of the real Havana. To see the real Havana, you need to go to Havana Central. In the canyon-like streets of Centro, you will see barefoot kids playing football or baseball, black market transactions, and all sorts of local street trade. It's a great place for people photography, both candid and posed. For the ultimate in revolutionary Cuba, a visit to Plaza de la Revolucion is a must. Here is the iconic mural of Che Guevara, along with an imposing memorial to Jose Marti. For the ultimate, perhaps cliched shots of Havana, you need to visit the Malecon, the famous seawall that runs for 5 miles along the northern edge of the city. Here, the golden hours provide stunning light, the soft golden rays of the low sun bringing subtle yet beautiful colouring to the pastel shades of the faded colonial buildings. In the evening, you will find fantastic photographic opportunities to shoot hanaberos at play. Musicians practicing, kids swimming, families and friends drinking rum. An evening or two on the Malecon is a form of photographic nirvana. Let's look at some of the practicalities of a trip to Havana. Firstly, your equipment. There is such a diversity of shots to be made in Havana that if you have them, take a super wide, standard zoom and a good telephoto zoom. Being tropical, it rains a lot, so make sure your camera bag is waterproof or has a cover. Moving from the cold air-conditioned hotels to the warm tropical air will cause condensation to form on your lens. Allow 30 minutes or so for the lens to acclimatise before shooting. Such is the heat that this can occur even in the early morning pre-dawn. A tripod is a useful tool for low light photography, but can also be heavy to carry all day in the tropical heat. A flash gun is certainly useful to carry. The sun during the day can be very harsh and flash can be used to fill in the shadows on any portraits. Lastly, let's talk briefly about safety. Havana is probably one of the safest cities in Latin America for tourists. In the many years I have been travelling there, I have not once had an issue. There is a dedicated tourist police force who are stationed virtually on every corner of the tourist districts. If going into Havana Central, apply some common sense. Do not flaunt your camera or your wealth and have respect for the locals and you'll be fine. Havana is an engaging, magical city, a delight for anyone that enjoys photography, and should be near the top of anyone's bucket list. Many of the images seen on this video are available from my website for licensing or as prints. Check out jasonrowephotography.co.uk for more. If you've enjoyed this video, why not give us a like and a subscription? We're looking to produce a lot more of these photographers' city guides in the near future. Thanks for watching.